And so I think that, the Lord was trying to get my attention and trying to be like, Kenlee, I'm trying to take you to a different season in your life right now. And it took me a while to realize that.
So
But
first of all, how is your day going? Let's get to a good space. Good vibe.
pretty good. I'm doing like this internship thing right now, and so I had that this morning, and then I got in a good workout, then went by the
Awesome.
grocery store, and now I'm here.
That sounds like an excellent day.
Very productive.
I was gonna say, no, we need those days, so that's awesome.
Okay. Yours
All
go.
right, for sure. So let's kind of dive into it. So kind of first of all, normally I tell everybody, I can tell everybody about your bio, the amazing accomplishments you've done, just the amazing athlete that you are. But I give athletes the opportunity to kind of tell their story their way. So
Mhm.
I don't dive into bios. I let you do that. And that's kind of what we do at Winning Her Way. So my first question is gonna be, kind of tell everybody about who you are, how you got into soccer, and kind of where you are at this moment.
Okay. Yeah, so my name's Kenlee Newcom, obviously. I grew up in Kentucky. I play soccer at Western Kentucky University. It's about an hour from where I'm from, so stayed pretty close to home, which is awesome.
Nice.
Um, yeah, so I've played soccer basically ever since I could kick a ball. um,
Awesome.
I played a bunch of other sports as well, like growing up, but soccer was always the one thing that stuck. I just kept going back to it. And it was the thing that I loved. And we realized I was a lot better with my feet than I was with my hands. Um,
I was the
yeah.
opposite.
Yeah. So throughout my college career, I had 5 ankle surgeries and a heart surgery.
Wow.
Um, yeah, and so if you were to ask senior year me, once you get to Western, what kind of impact do you want to make? I would have told you like I want to make a difference on the stat sheet. Like I want to be known for scoring goals and like for making things happen, like being a game changer, that kind of thing.
Right.
But obviously, like now looking back and where I'm at now, it's like obviously the Lord had different plans for me. And I
Mhm.
still made an impact, and I made an impact on the team, but it was definitely just in a different way than what I had thought it was. Because in high
Amen.
school and throughout my travel team, we had won state a couple of times, and we'd been runner ups.
Nice.
I had been like, district, all district, all region, like every year in high school, and then like player of the year, like stuff like that, like I'm not trying to like toot my own horn or anything, but like I had
No.
accolades and stuff.
Yeah.
Um, like going into college, like I wanted to carry on stuff like that. And then I got here and the Lord was like, nope, we have different plans for you.
Oh, man. And you know what? I love the fact that, you're talking about your faith, because I myself understand how important, first of all, that relationship is. And sometimes the plans that we have for ourselves is not the plans he has for us. And sometimes he might have to yank us out of that dream that we kind of, we've been chasing for however long we've been chasing it, just to bring us to like where he wants us to be, which is always so much better.
Oh yeah.
So I can't wait to kind of dive into that. So man, you've had a journey
Yeah.
to say the least. How did getting these injuries affect your mental health?
Oof. Um, I mean, I feel like at times I wasn't even myself.
Mm,
You always heard people talking about mental health is so important and stuff like that. And I never really understood it until I went through all of this.
yeah.
And, I was like, wow, like mental health is real. Like,
Yes.
so real. I mean, I honestly like there were days where it just like I just wanted to quit playing. And
Mm,
never in my life have I been a quitter ever.
yeah.
It just all around affected everything in my life. Like I didn't have motivation to do anything. I felt sad and depressed all the time. It's
Mm,
just like I felt like I kept like getting knocked down and then, I'd finally brush myself off and stand up and then I'd get knocked down twice as hard. It's like I felt
wow.
like I could never like get anywhere. And so I was constantly in the state of like, God, why me? Like I came to
Mm,
play soccer, like let me just live out my dream. And so it was
wow.
just I honestly was in a very dark place.
Yeah.
Honestly, like I always tell my parents, like I look back at pictures of me during that time and I'm like, I don't even recognize myself. I just
Wow.
act like myself. I didn't smile all the time. I wasn't super happy. I just was down.
Yeah. Yeah. No. I can completely relate. I tore my ACL. I guess it's been 2 years ago now, which is
Mhm.
crazy. And I'm just now kind of recovering fully from the ACL surgery. And I tell people that that was one of the darkest places I've ever been in because it's like you're ripped from everything you know. And
Yeah.
I'm sure, like you, I've been an athlete since I was 4.
Mhm.
So that's all I knew. Every summer was sports, competition. So the first summer that I was like, wait, what am I like? What do I do? Like, I don't
Yeah.
even know what to do outside of like training right now.
Yeah.
And I tell, and I know people definitely try to relate. I'm not gonna say that people don't understand what it's like to kind of have your sport taken from you.
Mhm.
But it is like a very dark place to be at
Oh,
times, and I think more athletes need to talk about it because there's a lot of us that go through it. So
yeah.
I
Oh,
appreciate you for sharing that because you don't know how many little girls that are looking up to you that might incur an injury along the way
yeah.
need to hear that you went through this. This is a part of being an athlete, but you
Yeah.
also overcame it. So
Right.
I appreciate you for sharing that. So kind of reflecting on like your 2022 season. I know
Mhm.
you played 12 matches, right?
Mhm.
And you scored the game-winning goal.
Yes.
Kinda take us back to that moment.
Um, Honestly, it, like, almost is a blur. It was so awesome. So that whole season, I had to wear a boot, because my ankle had become messed up again, but I decided that I wanted to play through the season.
Oh,
And so
wow.
I wore a boot every single time that I didn't have cleats on. It honestly was so weird. Like, I'd show up to the field and I'd be wearing a boot, and then I'd take it off and put cleats on and just go run. I was like, "This is so weird." It just did not
Man,
feel, but, yeah, it was at Florida International, and, coach had just put me in the game, and, I'm pumped, and I would take any second that I could and just run with it. Like, I was so excited, just because of obviously, like, my journey and everything, and,
yeah,
yeah, it was a corner, and one of my friends, headed it back, and I was right there and just, like, kinda volleyed it in with my left foot, and yeah,
wow.
just I kinda went in there and, like, I saw the ball hit the net, and I was standing there like, "Oh my goodness," like, that
It
actually
went
just
in.
I stood there and I was like, "No way, that just actually happened."
Wow. But wait, how did you play with, like wait, you had a boot on and then you put on
Mhm.
cleats. So, like, how
Yeah,
was your ankle able to handle, like, the impact?
we literally, like, soft casted my ankle.
Oh, man.
Literally, and then put, like, this extra stuff on it, like, I could barely even, like, bend it and move it and stuff.
Oh my goodness. So you are a tough cookie. That's what it sounds like. Cause
My
I couldn't imagine. But that's amazing. So let's kind of get into like your NIL
Mhm,
opportunity because I know you are doing very well in that space. From what I researched.
mhm.
Kind of because I know I talked to a lot of younger athletes about just the importance of like preparation as far as
Mhm.
social media, making sure that your brand is clean. How were you able to kind of position yourself as an athlete to get these amazing NIL opportunities?
Yeah, so honestly, like, I got my following out of nowhere. Like, I had no idea. I was just being myself and posting the things that meant the most to me. Um, and it's funny because like people ask me all the time, like, what, like, did you work for this? Like, how did you get it? And it's like, I always tell them, I'm like, one day I feel like I just woke up and it just happened. Um,
Wow.
but after like I'd started to like get a following, then that's whenever I realized, like, oh, like, I should probably start working at this. And it's a blessing in disguise having all of my injuries because it really like had me focus on the NIL stuff. Because while
Yep.
playing and everything, like, I got in this really bad headspace with social media where I was like, I want nothing to do with it, like, it just became
Mm,
so just, like, staged all the time, especially, like, when
yeah.
I had deals coming one after another, it's like, I didn't feel like I could just post what I wanted to post, and
Mm,
that's what is huge for me, like, I want people to be able to look at my page and be like, "Oh, she's just one of like, she's like me, like, she's just another."
yep.
No, like, I don't want them to pull it up and, like, have to, like, look through, like, I don't know, just all kinds of, like, random stuff, like, I want it to be me, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Authentic. Yeah.
Yeah, 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 and so I think kind of that's where I started to like build that. And then NIL, people just started like reaching out to me. And at first, I never really said no unless it was something that like I didn't agree with at all.
Hmm.
I was open to everything. Um, and so, yeah, and I just had fun with it, you know. It was awesome being able to like connect with a lot of people and to talk with people. I know a lot of times, like in the NIL space, it's easy to like get overwhelmed and like shut people out, and you know, like especially like with emails, not checking it and stuff like that. And I
Yes.
just had a great opportunity to be able to like connect with people and talk with all kinds of people, even if you don't want to go through a deal with them. You know, maybe later on in life something comes back around with them, and yeah.
Yeah, don't burn those bridges.
Oh,
That's true.
yeah.
So, okay, so with that being said, because there's this controversy around NIL, right? There's some people
Mhm.
that love
Right.
it, other people hate it. I personally think it's amazing because I remember when I was in college, I prayed for opportunities like this. So like
Yeah.
I'm happy that athletes are getting what they deserve because
Mhm.
you guys put so much on the line for the sport.
Right.
But do you feel that NIL has affected kind of like your perspective on sports in any way?
That's a good question.
Oh, I know it.
Um, Maybe a little bit, yeah.
Okay.
And not exactly like the sport itself, but like the players. Like, I
Mm,
know it's easy to have this mindset where if they don't have a big NIL presence or a huge following, then they're not a good athlete. Like, I
right.
think that's a really big misconception right now. Because you know, a lot of these top athletes, you look them up, and of course, they have a bunch of followers and they have all these NIL deals. But then, you know, you've got these other athletes who just genuinely don't care about social media and stuff. And like, just because they don't want to do the NIL and they don't want to be like all out there and everything doesn't mean that they're not a good athlete. Um,
Yeah,
so
that is so true. Okay. All right, that kind of took me off script, so let's get back to where we were. So I just had to ask that because I know everybody has a different opinion about NIL, and it's
Yeah,
very interesting to hear from like the actual athletes that's living that,
yeah,
right? So
yeah,
that makes a lot of sense. Like you can't really judge a book by its cover for
yeah,
sure.
yeah.
So going through the, kind of going back, going through the ankle injuries and the surgeries and everything like that,
Mhm.
mentally, how do you feel like that's prepared you for life?
It's the whole reason I'm here. I always tell people, like, that was one of the hardest times of my life, but I would do it over and over and over and over and over again because it has made me who I am today. Um,
Mm,
yeah,
I
I
love
wouldn't be
that.
where I'm at, who I am, what I believe, like, I wouldn't be anything without any of that.
I
So,
love that. I love that. Look, trials and tribulations lead you to the
oh,
mountaintop.
oh,
Period. So
yeah,
you got it. You got it. So let's look to the future. So I know you're preparing now to make your comeback, right?
a little bit, yeah, trying to decide.
Trying to okay, so you're kind of on the fence about like what you want to do.
Yeah, cause my 5th ankle surgery, they went in and put a cadaver tendon in there, so, like, it's not even my own
Ah,
ankle anymore, and
yeah.
so my doctor was kinda like, "You're gonna have to convince me to play again," and so I'm
Mm,
technically medically DQ'd from Western, but I do have 2 extra years. I would just have to transfer and go somewhere else to finish those out, so
interesting.
yeah,
Okay.
lots to think
You know
about.
what? You know, we're we're twins, low key, because I'm also in a very similar position because
Uh-huh,
of the ACO and me
yeah,
trying to figure out like, do I want to return back to playing football or
yeah,
do I just want to like bask in like my entrepreneur,
right,
soft girl season? and like just focus on like building that brand and having
Right.
impact off the field.
Mhm.
So okay, I have to ask this. Like how like mentally, like how like where are you with this? Like are you in a place where you're like, okay, I'm okay if I can't return? Or are you like, no, I'm gonna do everything I can to at least like get back on that field?
Yeah, so it's funny that you asked that because this has been, like, ongoing for so long. I every single time I had one of my surgeries, I immediately was like, "I gotta work twice as hard now to get back to where I was before. Everyone else has been working while I've been on a
Yeah.
couch, not being able to even walk." So I personally believe that me doing that is what has caused me to have more and more ankle surgeries. Like that has led to the next
Yeah.
one. And so I think that, the Lord was trying to get my attention and trying to
Mhm.
be like, Kinley, I'm trying to take you to a different season in your life right now.
Yes.
Um, and it took me a while to realize that. But when I got told that I might never play soccer again, that was one of the hardest things that I'd ever been told. Growing up, my one goal, my one dream was to play D1 soccer. And then I got here and, I don't really get to play a whole lot just because of my
Yeah.
injuries the entire time. And I always tell my mom, she's like, Kinley, you made it. Like, that was your goal. That was your dream. You made it. And I'm like, but I didn't. Like, I did, but
Mm.
I didn't get to live it out. And she's like,
Yeah.
you lived it in a different way. Like, and
Yes.
so I think honestly, I had to like take a step back and swallow my pride and realize that the Lord might be calling me elsewhere.
Yes.
It took a really, 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 really long time to swallow that.
Yes.
And I kept like in the back of my mind, like, well, maybe I still can play. Like I can still play, but like I'm okay
Yeah.
now and I'm at ease. Like I have this calmness in any kind of storm now where I'm like, it's okay. Like I know the Lord has a plan and his is 100 times better than what mine
Yes.
could possibly be. So
Amen to that. Wow, I love that. You just helped me with you saying that. Because you're right. If there's peace with that
mhm,
decision, then that's
mhm,
when you know that's where God wants you. If it's resistance and it just seems hard and it's like,
yeah,
should I, shouldn't I,
yeah,
confusion, all of
yeah,
that, that's not that's
yeah,
probably not where God wants you. And it's for a reason. Even though we might not
mm,
see it,
yeah,
there's obviously something that He's trying to show us, and sometimes, God will be like, hey, hey. And then we're like, no, I'm gonna keep doing my own thing. And then
yeah,
sometimes he has to just
yeah.
slap us and we're like,
Oh yeah,
oh crap, like now now I
like
gotta
I'll fake
listen.
I'm listening.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly. So I 100% get that. That's wow. I love
yeah.
that. So tell us about your faith.
Mhm.
I have to know kind of like how has sports gotten you closer to Christ? Or was there something else that was like a pivotal moment?
Yeah, so growing up, I grew up in a Christian household. My Everyone in my family is a Christian. So I grew up going to church, but I personally believe that at some point you have to make the decision to make it your own faith and not your parents' faith anymore. Because like growing up,
Mm,
your parents are telling you to go to church, like they're telling you who Christ is and like all of that. And so it's like I really think that like once you get to college, it's like you have to make that decision. Like this is my faith now. I'm the one that has to wake up on Sunday mornings, go to church, Monday nights, Wednesday nights, like whatever it is, like I have to make that decision and I have to make time for that because no one's dragging me there.
yeah.
And I just got to see his glory and mercy firsthand throughout all of my injuries. Obviously, like I've always been a Christian, but that is the one thing that stayed consistent throughout everything. Like I had
Mm,
so many things coming and going, but he
yes.
was always there. At nights when I was crying myself to sleep because I couldn't play soccer, like soccer was not there comforting me, like he was.
Yes, yes.
So it's always been a huge thing in my life. And I just, through these injuries and through my sport, I really was able to become closer with him. Um, yeah, I think my injuries really led me to a deeper relationship with him, 100%.
Oh man, I feel the exact same way because when you're at your lowest, and there's really nobody around you that can fill that void,
Yeah.
and you have that connection with him and you kind of lay it at the altar, and then
Yeah.
you feel your life starts to change immediately. It's like, okay, okay, God, like you are King of Kings. Like you are able to come into spaces in my soul and heart that nobody else can feel. So
Mhm.
I 100%, man, that's beautiful. I love the fact that, because you don't hear this a lot, if I'm being honest. You don't really hear a lot of athletes talk about their faith.
Uh-huh.
Even
Yeah.
the ones that, that they grew up Christian or Catholic
Mhm.
or whatever it may be. You don't hear a lot of them voice their
Yeah.
opinions and just, like excitedly talk about their
Yeah.
relationship with God.
Yeah.
So what made you feel comfortable doing this? Because I see it on your social media as well.
Yeah. I think, ooh, man, it's something that I've always talked about, always posted, but like I said, like after experiencing it first-handed, it's like I can't not tell the world about him.
Yeah.
We're called to be disciples of Christ. Like this is like my job.
Yeah.
I always tell people like the Lord, after going through all of my surgeries and injuries and stuff, it's like I realized the Lord didn't put me on this earth to play soccer. Like maybe He did
Mm,
like to use that as a gateway to like tell people about Jesus and stuff like that. But like the sole reason I'm put on this earth is to tell people about Jesus and to bring people home.
yes.
Um, so, it's like I look at it like my job. Um, it's never been a, ooh, should I not? Like I've never even looked at it like this is weird. Like it's just always been a staple in my life.
Mm,
And
I
I
love
think
that.
things that really, really, really brought it out is before I had all of my injuries, I was very focused on my soccer career and stuff like that. My identity was soccer, and that's what it was in. And then once I started getting my like social media stuff, it was also in that. And so,
Cool.
I was Kenlee Newcom, the soccer player, and then TikTok star Kenlee Newcom, like, oh, you have Instagram followers, like stuff like that, and it's
Yeah.
I would always be like, "No, no, no, no," but, like, at the same time, inside of me, I was like, "Yeah, like, that's who I am now," that kinda thing, and then it's like,
Mm,
going through my injuries, it's almost like the Lord took all of that from me. Like, he stripped the
mm,
away. I started losing followers because I went into this, like, hole where I didn't even wanna look at social media, and so it's
yeah.
almost like I felt like I didn't even know who I was anymore, like, my identity felt like it was just, like, torn from me, and
Wow.
so that's when I ran even further towards him, and I was like,
Wow.
"Lord, I can do this on my own," and so I got to experience his grace firsthand, and now I'll never stop telling him about him.
Oh my God, I love this. You're awesome. Like, this is definitely one of my best interviews. So yeah, man, you have no idea how much I resonate with you when it comes to that. And just understanding that that's our job. Like at the end of the
Mhm.
day, like yes, we are these other things. Like he gave us these gifts, but at the end of the day, your ultimate job is to bring everybody closer to him, bring them back, like you said, back home to the golden gates.
Yep.
And that's the priority. So wow, I love that. Okay, so we just went to church. Okay, so let's have a little bit of fun now. Let's have a little bit of fun. Because I know we talked about some really, intimate things.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so first of all, are you single?
No, I have a boyfriend.
Okay, cool. So we're gonna do like a different version of what I normally do.
Okay.
So normally I do this fun little section or segment called intentional dating. And I
Mhm.
kind of talk to you about I ask you questions about either your relationship or if you're single, kind of like what you're
Mhm.
looking for in a relationship.
Yeah.
So are you cool with that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Oh.
perfect, perfect. Okay, so how did you know that your current partner was your person?
I mean, he's literally me in guy form. And it's
Oh,
funny because people are always like opposites attract. I mean, he's literally me. Like it's
wow.
hilarious. But we hung out one time and I knew immediately, just like I was able to talk to him like he was my best friend and that I'd known him for forever. And usually like if I ever go on a date or something, like I am nervous as all get out. Like I hardly talk. Like I feel like I can't be myself. I'm like I gotta hold that off until a couple of other dates. But like
Yeah.
the that we hung out for the first time, it was
You just
awesome
knew. Uh,
immediately.
I love that. I said the same thing about my husband, so
Yeah.
that might be the sign right there. Okay, so what were, like, the top priorities, like, the non-negotiables that you had to have in your partner?
Um, had to be a Christian.
Mhm.
That honestly was my top one. There weren't really other there weren't any, like, other things that, like, he had to have, like, I wanted him to be an athlete just because, like, you know, athlete, like, then
Makes
you can
sense.
work out together and it's like you can connect on a different level.
Yeah.
Especially, like, he is a college athlete, he plays baseball at Western, and so
Oh,
we're able
nice.
to, like, connect on a different level than if I were, like, dating someone who never did college athletics, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Um, that's not like I need to have that, but it was cool. Um, I don't know, just I needed him to be nice and caring, and he had to be funny, and he has to be able to take my sense of humor and run with it.
for sure. That is a must,
Yes.
100%. Okay, no, I love that. Okay, so last question. When you hear intentional dating, what does that mean to you?
Like dating them because you're wanting to pursue something like you want a future with them. You're not just dating to
Just
date,
today.
hang out with them, and you don't want it to be anything. Like, I think it means, like, you want to marry this person eventually.
I love that. Yep. Okay, that's my definition too. Okay, well, look, thank you so much, Kenley, for being a good sport.
Yeah.
Last but not least, first of all, well, it's a two-part question. What
Mhm.
do you have coming up? Well, like, what can we tune into and look forward to? And then, second thing, what would you tell a young athlete that's looking up to you that wants to follow in your footsteps? What have
Ooh. Hmm. Okay. Can you hear me?
Sorry, somebody a phone call came in,
Oh
but
no,
we're
you're
good
fine.
now. We're good now.
Um, I would say for the younger athlete thing, it would be, um, probably to be yourself and to work hard. One of my biggest things is that hard work does not go unnoticed and it eventually will play into what you want in life. You're not going to get anything by just sitting around and wishing you had it. You got to go and do the work.
Yep,
And it's not weird to work hard and to sweat. um, if people make fun of you like, "Oh, she's a try hard," like stuff like that, you just wait until later on in life you're where you want to be and they're still somewhere else wishing they were where you are. So,
exactly.
um, my thing is just do the work. Results will come. Um, yeah, so that, and then, for upcoming stuff, I have a couple of NIL deals that are about to happen, so, yeah, and then
Okay.
I have, like, a workout page or whatever, and I'm starting to, like, post more workout videos and stuff, so if everyone wants
Okay.
to stay tuned for that.
It's like a Kenlee fitness app in the
Yeah.
future? Okay, all right. Look,
Yep.
we're gonna be tuning in. So when you launch that, we have to bring you back on so that you can talk about it.
Okay, okay, sounds good.
Awesome, awesome. Well, thank you so much. I know you're
Thank you.
busy. I appreciate you taking the time to do this interview.
Of course.
And we're looking forward to what's next.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Awesome.
It's
All right.
so nice to meet you.
Awesome. Have a good one.